Cold morning. Wind whispering down Maple Creek's empty street. A stop sign rattled. A loose awning squeaked. Evelyn pulled her shawl tighter and opened her coin purse. 3 coins. 1 wrinkled bill. $10. That was it. She stood outside Sophia's little grocery. The window fogged from warm bread and boiling tea inside. The bell on the door gave a tired jingle as she stepped in. "Morning, Evelyn," Sophia said, rubbing her hands near the kettle. "You look frozen." "I'm fine," Evelyn smiled. A small smile. Brave, but thin. "Just milk and a loaf. Cheapest you've got." Sophia slid the bread over and lowered her voice. "You still okay to cover the taxes this week?" Evelyn's fingers shook around her purse. "I'll manage." Beat. The door burst open again. A gust. And a man stumbled in, helmet in his hand, jacket torn, a smear of grease across his cheek. He winced as he walked. He smelled of gasoline and damp leaves. "You all right?" Sophia asked. "Chain snapped," the man said, breathless. "About a mile out. Phone's dead. I just need a gas can and a sandwich. I'll pay you back. I swear." Evelyn looked at his hands. They were trembling. Not from the cold. From hunger. "What's your name?" she asked. "Michael," he said. "I'm not from here." Evelyn opened her purse. The coins flashed. The single bill lay there, soft with age. $10. She remembered John, her late husband, saying, "If you've got a little, you've got enough to share." She could hear his warm chuckle. The way he'd tap her wrist. The gentle pride in his eyes. It hurt to remember. It healed too. Evelyn nodded to Sophia. "Please. A sandwich. Tea. And the gas can." "Evelyn." Sophia's eyebrows rose. She knew what that money meant. "It's all right," Evelyn whispered. "He needs it." Michael stared. "Ma'am, I can't take your—" "You can," Evelyn said. "And you will. Sit. Eat. Warm your hands." He stared at her a moment, his jaw tight. Then he sat. Sophia poured tea. Steam rose like a thin silver veil. Michael's shoulders dropped when he took the first bite. He almost groaned. Relief filled his eyes. That sound, soft, grateful, was bigger than the room. "What's your name?" he asked after a few gulps. "Evelyn." "You saved my day, Evelyn." She shook her head. "Not saved. Just helped." He ate in quiet bursts, eyes closing between chews. Silence. Outside, tires hissed on wet road. Somewhere far away, a dog barked. Life went on. When the cup was empty and the bread gone, Michael stood. "I'll remember this," he said, voice rough. I'm not good at asking for help. But you didn't make me ask." "Everyone needs a hand sometimes," Evelyn said. She took off her wool scarf, the green one John had loved. "Take this. The wind cuts hard on the ridge." Michael hesitated, then wrapped the scarf around his neck. His eyes shone. "What do I owe you?" Evelyn smiled. "Just be kind to the next person." He nodded, swallowed, and looked like a boy for a heartbeat. "I will." Sophia handed him the gas can. He bowed his head once and slipped back into the cold. The bell jingled behind him. The door closed. The wind took his shadow. Sophia turned to Evelyn. "You gave him everything you had." Evelyn tucked her empty purse away. "Not everything," she said softly. "I still have a home. I still have John's stories. And I have you." Sophia's eyes went soft. "I'll put your milk on the tab." "Just bread," Evelyn said. She touched the counter to steady herself. "Only bread." She stepped outside. The morning felt wider now. But as she walked, a letter in her pocket scratched like a thorn, a notice from Robert at the county office. Taxes overdue. Deadline close. Her steps slowed. The wind whispered again. Silence. Far away, down the hill, there was a faint rolling sound. Low. Like thunder holding its breath. She paused, listening. Then kept walking home. Tomorrow, that sound would return, louder, and it would stop right at her door. Evelyn's little house leaned like a tired friend. Paint flaked off the porch rail. A single geranium hung on, red as a heartbeat in the cold. She set the bread on the table and slid Robert's letter beside it. She ran her thumb over the black stamp. Final notice. She boiled water and poured it over a second-hand teabag for the third time. She watched the color bloom weakly. She thought about John. She thought about how he used to warm the room with his laugh. About how he would fix neighbors' lawnmowers for free. "That's how I pay my rent to the world," he'd say. With grease and kindness. He'd loved motorcycles too. He'd loved the way engines talk. Her phone buzzed. A message from Emma, the clinic nurse. "You okay for your checkup tomorrow? I can swing by if it's cold." Evelyn typed back slowly. "I'm fine, dear. See you next week." She didn't want anyone to see the letter. Beat. Meanwhile, a mile away, Michael reached his bike. The chain lay slack like a tired snake. His fingers were numb, but he worked quick. Sandwich in his belly, tea in his blood, scarf at his throat. He fixed the chain. He kicked the starter. The engine coughed, then roared. He sat there a second, the scarf scratching his jaw, the warmth still in his chest. He opened his phone. 1% battery came to life like a last candle. He snapped a photo of the green scarf around his neck. He wrote on a biker group, stranded in Maple Creek. "Elderly lady named Evelyn gave me her last dollars. Fed me. Saved me. I'm headed back to her town tomorrow. Anyone want to ride?" He hit send as the phone died. He rode home with the wind punching his jacket and his mind on a woman's brave smile. He thought of his own mother, who used to press warm bread into his hands before school, even when the pantry was low. He thought of what it feels like to be seen. At a gas station 3 towns over, a rider named Mark saw the post. He shared it. His friend shared it. And then, another. Screens lit up in kitchens and garages. Helmets sat on countertops. Fingers tapped replies. "I'm in. 10 a.m., station on Route 7. Bring what you can, cash, groceries, blankets. Let's make noise." The ripple widened. A club from the next county chimed in. A woman who didn't ride but loved the idea posted to her church group. Someone started a quick fundraiser link. The title was simple, $10 of kindness. Money trickled, then poured. People typed notes. "For Evelyn. For the scarf. For my grandma. For the day a stranger helped me in a snowstorm." Long silence. Back on Maple Street, Evelyn pulled the Afghan over her knees and fell asleep in her chair. The house creaked gently. The refrigerator hummed. The night drew close. She dreamed of John in his blue work shirt, smudges on his cheek, eyes kind. He was tightening a bolt, smiling. "You can't control what breaks," he said, "but you can control what you bring to the repair." She woke before sunrise. The letter still sat there. Her hands shook as she made tea. She set the cup down and took a breath. Then she heard it, far off at first. A rolling thunder. Not the sky. The road. Engines. Dozens of them. Layered and low like a choir of lions. Her cup rattled. She stood. The sound grew. It was coming straight toward her street. Evelyn stepped onto her porch. Cold air kissed her face. The first bike turned the corner, chrome catching the thin sun. Then, another. And another. Black leather. Bright helmets. Flags fluttering like small, stubborn birds. 50 riders, 2 by 2, filled Maple Street. Neighbors came out in slippers and coats. Phones rose into the air. The rumble shook the boards under Evelyn's feet. They stopped in a graceful line. Engines idled. The sound rolled like a heartbeat. Silence. Michael took off his helmet and walked forward. The green scarf lay at his throat, bright against the black. He looked different in the daylight, still fierce, but softer around the eyes. "Evelyn," he said, his voice loud enough for the porch but quiet enough to feel close. "I told you I'd remember." She touched the railing to steady herself. This is a lot of remembering." People chuckled. The laughter was warm. The air felt warmer too. "I'm Michael," he repeated. "These are friends. Some know Maple Creek. Most don't. But they know you now." Sophia hurried up the sidewalk with a bag. "I brought muffins," she puffed. "I didn't know there would be this many." A nurse in a puffy jacket waved. "Emma," she said to Evelyn, smiling, cheeks pink. "I came anyway." Michael cleared his throat and held up an envelope. "Evelyn, you gave me your last dollars yesterday. You didn't ask me for anything. You gave me your scarf." He touched the green wool with 2 fingers, almost reverent. "We wanted to give something back." He handed the envelope to her. Her fingers fumbled. Inside lay a cashier's check. And a handwritten list. She read the amount. She blinked. The number blurred. Her knees went soft. "Easy," Emma said, stepping closer. "How?" Evelyn whispered. "A lot of small kindness," Michael said. "We raised what we could overnight." He looked a little stunned himself. People like helping when they know where it's going. Sophia peered at the paper. "This covers the county taxes," she breathed. "And the past due utilities. And groceries for months." "There's more," Michael said. He nodded to a rider with a gray beard. The man lifted a tarp from a pickup bed. A brand-new mobility scooter gleamed in the light, simple and sturdy. A ramp leaned against the tailgate. "I don't need," Evelyn began. "Maybe not every day," the gray-bearded rider said. "But on the hard days. I'm Robert." He grinned. "I'm county too, but the kind that likes engines, not envelopes." Laughter again. Soft. Easy. "And this," Michael said, lifting the list. "The roofers from John's old shop." Evelyn flinched at the name. Michael saw it and softened his voice. "From your husband's circles. They heard. They'll fix the leaks. No charge." Evelyn pressed the envelope to her chest. Her breath shook. The riders shuffled, unsure what to do with so much feeling in so small a space. Silence. Somewhere a crow called. Somewhere a window closed carefully, as if not to scare away the moment. "I don't know what to say," Evelyn whispered. "You don't have to," Michael said. "You've already said it. Yesterday. With $10. He reached behind him and brought out a small wooden box. "There's one more thing. We want you to open it." Inside lay a phone, simple to use, with big numbers, already on. A list of contacts filled the screen: Emma, nurse; Sophia, grocer; Michael, rider; Robert, ramps. And a contact at the top: "Rider family, anytime. If you ever need anything," Michael said, "you press that. We'll figure it out." Evelyn's eyes brimmed. Her hands trembled. She looked from face to face. Leather and denim. Tattoos and church scarves. Wrinkles and freckles. A small community formed in her yard like a sudden campfire. She took a breath to thank them, then another rumble rose, different, closer. A flatbed turned the corner, wearing a blue tarp like a secret. Michael's smile tilted. "We're not done." What could be under that tarp big enough to make everyone hold their breath? The flatbed eased to the curb. The engine went quiet. That quiet felt thick, like snow falling. Silence. Hands moved to mouths. Eyes widened. The tarp came up slow. Underneath sat a sturdy wooden cart, painted a soft sky blue, with white trim and a little canopy. On the side, hand-lettered in careful strokes, it read, "John and Evelyn's Pie Stand, hot slices, warm stories." The gasp that went through the crowd was gentle. a new kind of thunder. Evelyn pressed her fingers to her lips. John, she breathed. The name floated into the cold air and seemed to warm it. She touched the painted letters. Her thumb came away a little blue. How? Your neighbor Sophia told us you bake, Michael said. And that you used to sell slices at church. That people came as much for your stories as for your crust. Sophia nodded, eyes shining. It was the best part of Sunday. A rider lifted a small chalkboard from the flatbed. Another set a new thermos on the counter. Emma placed a tin of cinnamon beside it. The blue cart glowed like a promise. Evelyn laughed, a sound like a bell. Then she cried, a sound like rain on an old roof. She let both sounds sit together. Michael stepped closer. When you helped me, I was on my way to my mom's grave. She died 2 years ago. He swallowed. She used to make pies when there was nothing else in the house. The smell, it made the bad days feel survivable. Yesterday, in Sophia's store, your scarf smelled like someone's kitchen. Like kindness. I wanted to bring that back into the world. He glanced at the cart. A few riders are carpenters. One's a sign painter. 2 work at the supply yard. We called in every favor. He shrugged, almost shy. We didn't sleep much. Robert, the gray-bearded rider, wheeled the mobility scooter down the ramp and parked it beside the cart. It's all yours. We'll store it at Sophia's when the weather's ugly. We'll tow it to the market on Saturdays. Evelyn's hands settled on the cart's edge. The wood was smooth and a little cool. She could see the town square in her mind. The cobblestones. The park bench where John used to read the paper and pretend not to watch her sell slices. She turned to the riders. You did all this for a stranger? Michael shook his head. Not a stranger. Family we hadn't met yet. Neighbors murmured. Someone sniffed. Even a few helmets tilted away, hiding eyes. Emma put an arm around Evelyn. This changes things, she said softly. Income, purpose, company. It's not just a check. Evelyn nodded, tears catching in the lines of her smile. She looked up at the sky. A weak winter sun found her face and made a small crown of light at her hair. John, she whispered, would have loved this. She touched the paint again. He'd have told me to quit crying and preheat the oven. Laughter rippled, real and easy. Michael cleared his throat. There's one last piece. He pulled out a folder. We talked with the county office this morning. Robert, he nodded to a different man near the fence wearing a badge and scarf, helped rush things. The taxes are paid. And there's a small business permit for this cart in your name. Signed. Stamped. The man with the badge, also named Robert, raised a hand, sheepish. You'll still see me, Evelyn, he said. But next time it'll be for a slice, not a notice. Cheers. Claps. Someone whistled. A dog barked as if it understood. Evelyn held the folder like a fragile bird. Then she looked at Michael. I don't know how to thank you. He smiled. Let us be your customers. He lifted the green scarf gently. One more question, he added, voice low, meant just for her and somehow for everyone. Would you ride with us? Just around the square. We'll go slow. Evelyn looked at the bikes. She thought of John's hands on handlebars years ago, his grin bright, his hair full of wind. Her heart thumped. Her fingers trembled. She nodded. The riders grinned like kids. Michael handed her a spare helmet lined with soft fleece. Ready. They helped her onto the back of his bike, the scarf tucked in, the helmet snug. Engines woke like friendly beasts. Neighbors moved aside, clapping. Michael glanced back. You good. Evelyn took a breath. Let's go. They rolled forward into the cold bright day, and in the town square, something waited that none of them expected. The pack moved like a river. Slow. Careful. Polished chrome catching the winter sun. Boots tapped. Engines purred like lions taking a nap. Evelyn held the grab bar, then Michael's jacket. She felt the thrum in her bones. The air tasted like metal and pine. Wind whispered past her ears, a soft sh, like someone telling the town to listen. They circled once and stopped in the square. People had gathered. Word travels quick when 50 bikes roll by. Kids waved. An old man wiped his glasses. A woman with a baby held up her phone. In the center, near the statue of Maple Creek's founders, a simple ribbon stretched between two posts. Blue to match the cart. A small sign hung there, Evelyn's Corner, open hearts, open slices. Sophia hustled over with 2 pies she'd baked in her big oven. Steam rose like stories from the crust. The smell hit the square and pulled every face into a smile. Cinnamon. Butter. Apple. Memory. Emma handed Evelyn a pair of scissors with a ribbon tied to the handle. "You do the honors," she said. Evelyn laughed through her tears. "My hands are shaking." "That's all right," Michael said. "Shaking hands still make clean cuts." She lifted the scissors. Silence. The crowd leaned in. Snip. The ribbon fell like a blue stream. Cheers erupted. Helmets tapped each other like high fives. Someone shouted, "First customer." Michael stepped back so others could come forward. The line formed quick. Riders. Neighbors. The man with the badge named Robert held out a 5 and grinned. "Told you I'd be back." As people waited, Michael tapped the mic on a little stand someone had brought. His voice carried, gentle and sure. "We started a small fund last night," he said. $10 began it. It raised more than we guessed. Enough to cover taxes, the cart, supplies, a roof repair, and a little cushion to get through the winter. He looked at the kids in the front. "But we wanted it to stretch longer. So today, we're launching this with the town." He pointed to a simple poster tacked up near the cart, the John and Evelyn Small Kindness Fund, microgrants for seniors and single parents in Maple Creek. "It's not much," he said, "but it's a start. 100 here. 100 there. For a light bill. A prescription. A tire. The little things that keep a life upright." He held up a second envelope and handed it to Emma. "Emma's clinic will help manage it with Sophia and the church. Transparency. Dignity. Local hands." People clapped. Some cried. Some just stood there letting the idea soak into their day. Evelyn set a slice on a paper plate and handed it to a teenager with purple hair. "Pay what you can," she said. "Or pay with a story." The kid blinked, then smiled. "I've got both," they said. Between orders, Evelyn looked at Michael. She leaned closer, voice small under the noise. "Why did you really come back?" Michael swallowed. "Because my mom once had $10 to her name and gave it to a man at a bus stop. He fixed her car for free a week later. It kept us from losing our apartment. She used to say, 'Money is a tool, not a throne. Keep it moving.' You kept it moving." Evelyn touched his sleeve. "So did you." A hush fell for a beat. Silence. Just pie tins clinking. Footsteps on stone. A baby's sleepy sigh. Then the square filled with voices again. With warmth. With the sound of a town remembering what it meant to be a town. As the last slices of the second pie went out, Evelyn looked at the line that still remained. She felt tired and brand new. She looked up. The sky was the gentle blue of the cart. She imagined John sitting on the bench, pretending to read the paper and failing. She imagined telling him about the noise, the thunder, the scarf. She imagined him nodding, then asking for a second slice. Michael lifted his chin to the riders. "We'll be back," he called. "Not just for pie. For projects. For people. Maple Creek is on our map." Engines rumbled in answer. Not loud. Just a promise. Before they rolled out, Michael turned to the crowd. "One last thing," he said. "This doesn't end because we're leaving. If you see someone with a light bill, a bus ticket, a broken chair, be the $10. He looked at Evelyn. The green scarf warmed both their throats. She lifted her hand and waved. "Thank you," she said. "For the thunder. For the quiet. For coming to fix what I didn't know was broken." The riders eased away, slow and bright, a river returning to the road. The square settled. The cart stood. The sign swayed. Maple Creek breathed. Evelyn set another pie on the counter. Sophia had more in the oven, and turned to the next face. "What's your story?" she asked. Long silence. "Now it's your turn. If you had only $10, and a stranger needed help, what would you do? And what gift has a stranger given you that changed your day?"